Hello, everyone, and welcome to Josh's Property Podcast. I'm here today with Iain Cooper. So Iain Cooper, he's actually the director for Keller Williams Bromley, well, Keller Williams Advantage, based in Bromley.
Yep.
And yeah, so I've worked with Iain. Well, we've known each other for a while, but I've only recently started working with Iain in the Bromley Market Centre. And for those who don't know him, I'll give you a bit of a background. So, was it Your Move? You originally came
Yeah,
from
yeah.
Your Move? Yeah,
LSL Property Services. Yeah, yeah. I was with before.
yeah, and that was for about sort of 7 or 8 years, wasn't it? Lettings mainly, director. Worked your way
Yep.
up from the ground up, really. Was
From the
it?
ground up. Yeah.
Yeah,
Fought my way through. Yeah.
yeah, and then sort of joined Keller Williams probably about 3 or 4 years ago at the sort of beginnings
Yeah.
of
Just over 4 years ago. Yeah. So it's just after this office actually launched. So
excellent, excellent. And you've always been with Bromley, well, Advantage since
yeah.
the start, yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent, excellent. And so, what sort of attracted you away from that conventional high street agency to work within this sort of new sort of self-employed model?
To be perfectly honest, I was made redundant in 2019. So I was a director of, as say, Your Move and Reed's Range at LSL Property Services. If I wasn't made redundant, I'd probably have been there for the rest of my life. I feel.
Yeah,
But it got to the point where I was talking to a couple of people at Keller at the time when I was going through the redundancy, and it's more the belief system and everything else that went with it, and about clients and the relationship and building communities and building culture, and having more relationship with clients rather than just being a number on a spreadsheet. Because it, at a corporate firm, you get the higher up you get, it's just more spreadsheets, as most people know, and people's names weren't on there. It was just numbers, and that really got to me. And meeting with Andrew, Ben, Jason, and Ben Taylor at the time, it was the belief system. So the first two, the win-win or no deal, and the integrity, always doing the right thing. And I don't think in agency there's enough of that. It's almost people come into it as a job, and I love what it meant and what we can achieve and what we could do, because it's 4.5 years down the line for me, and it's been tough, but we can see the future, we can see where we're going. So the main thing for me was the culture of the business and how we're actually dealing with and interacting with our clients in the local areas.
interesting. And what type of person do you think would be a good fit for joining Keller Williams? What type of individual would be that sort of benefit from it?
um, so yes, people need you. Any agency, right? You need to be a people person. So you need to be able to interact with people. But I think it's more somebody who wants to have their own business. They've got the drive to start their own business. But most of all, they still want to do it as a team. So they want to build a community around them within an office. So referrals and everything else. So it's somebody who's very much driven, who wants to build their own business, but alongside others, because no one succeeds alone. Um, and if the more you can do it with others, I think that's the type of person who's ideal for. It's not just off the shelf anybody does that agency. It needs to be someone who truly loves the business and loves people and helping people.
Excellent, excellent. And you mentioned the team and having that sort of environment where you can bounce off other people,
Mm.
and I guess learn from other agents that are doing the same thing in the
Yeah.
same place. So, when you're starting off with Keller Williams, I mean, how sort of difficult is it, do you think, for a person coming in with no experience to sort of get off the ground? Like, what's the sort of difficulty level of achieving that?
That's really tough, but to get off the ground, to get started, sometimes it can be that luck of the draw. If anyone hasn't got experience, it is learning, right? Immerse yourself in all the knowledge that's around you. Immerse yourself in the part of the top training company in the world, right? So immerse yourself in what we actually have, but learn off the other agents. Go out with them, go pick back off of them. When you look at trying to get business, if you start your own business and you talk to your friends, family, loved ones, they're going to want to help you. So you might get some quick wins, but it's simple, not easy, and it takes time. And it does take that, especially if you don't have experience, but you learn it the right way.
Yeah, so it's just being consistent, sticking at it,
Definitely.
Utilizing your sort of network, who's around you, your immediate sort of family, friends, these type of people that are going to support you.
Definitely. If you love learning, right, and you want to learn off others that have done it before and you want to succeed, it's a great environment to be around. Because sometimes I have agents that come off the high street, or anywhere else, right? So agents that have been agents before, you've then got to try and untrain,
Yeah.
not the bad, well, I'm going to say the bad habits that people have got, right?
Yep.
So just list as many as you can, try and get them sold, just do what you need to do and get them through. When people say about where the leads come from as well, it's like it's not about the brand above the door that give you the leads. It's about you as an individual and what you're doing, right? Door knocking, canvassing, cold calling, building networks, the local bobby, the post office, the butcher, whatever it is. So it's about the mindset change of current agents versus people that haven't been in the industry before. But people that haven't been in the industry before, it's ideal if they understand the property and they understand business.
So they understand the property they're selling, you mean?
They understand the process of property. So
The
they've either got
process.
buy to lets or they've bought before, or they've sold before a few different times. They've been around it in an environment.
Not necessarily as an estate agent, but
Yeah,
someone who has been around property in some sort of capacity that's going to help them at least
yeah,
get started within that.
yeah.
Okay, interesting. Now here's a bit of a tricky question. I wanted to ask you because it's something which I've been focusing on quite a lot, which is online content.
Yep.
Trying to produce more, engage more with people on Facebook and my Facebook page. I've been plugging, and you've been liking my page, to be fair. So, like,
Yep.
you've been helping with that. But I've sort of been thinking, like, how much time should I be putting into that as opposed to sort of like getting on the phones and actually speaking to people? Like what's more important, basically, putting yourself out there online or hitting the phones in the old school way?
You need to do both. 100%. If you're scared of social media, no point in doing all this because if I'm hitting the phones and I'm talking to people, what people usually do is go and research you. If I
Interesting.
research you, I need to find you, right? If I'm finding you, I'm going to look at your content. Is your content valuable to me? So when people say how much time should I spend on it, like majority of your time, you're 20%, the 80 20, 20 and 80 20 rule, the 20% of your time to give you 80% results is meeting people, is phone calls, is connections, is relationships. But as you're doing it, pick up your phone and put it in front of you and just you almost timeline of what you're doing. You can add value and do a video in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Not taking 2 seconds, like 30 seconds, a minute, right? So then you're putting that straight out there. So then how does that become valuable to other people? But you need to be making the calls so people will go and find you because it doesn't come naturally just through socials.
Yeah. Yeah. No, they're not going to just randomly just look you up, are they?
No,
They've got to have a reason to sort of, I guess, research you and know who you are, and you've got to kind of get in front of them, really, haven't you, to sort of
yeah, definitely. People are
make
always
them
stumble
feel.
upon you, but it'd be like a minuscule percentage of people, right? It's not going to be everybody. It's just what you want to do is try and increase the perception of who you are, right? Because we're in a relationship based business, it's just people need to see you. It's not just trying to put on a persona. It's not trying to say this is what real estate agents are all alike. It's just
Yeah.
you're being you, being a human being.
Yeah. No, definitely. No, that makes sense. One other question I had is there's obviously a capacity to how much one person can do, like, on their own,
Yeah,
as an individual. And for me, I'm almost like a perfectionist. Like, I want to get everything done, and I don't
yeah,
like leaving things to the next day. I want to complete all my tasks. I want to call everyone back and like get everything done.
yeah.
But I think as you get bigger and more properties and you've got more clients, you've got bigger pipeline, like, how can you manage that? Like, as one person, is there a limit to how much one person can do on their own?
It's dependent on the individual, right? Some people are superstars at everything, right? So they admin or whatever else that goes with it. So I'd say usually got the rule of 10, right? 10 clients at any one time that an individual can deal at almost max capacity.
10. Is
If you
that
then
10 on
10,
market and 10 in pipeline, or is that 10?
yes, yeah, yeah.
10.
So you've always got ones that you're progressing because you deals are fairly easy, right? Because you can leverage to somebody else who can progress those deals for you, right? There's companies out there that can do it. There's people that we partnered with that can do it for our agents. at a minimal fee. But again, you're still giving that personal service to your clients to make sure and ensure things are done. Because if you're overworked trying to sell other properties and trying to make your calls and do your social media and everything else, that almost goes to the back of your mind, and you might forget about it. So why not leverage somebody to come in and do that? And it's different between different people. Some people don't like to leverage the deal progression.
No.
So leverage something else that's going to take up your time. And I will sit down with agents and actually just do a timeline of how much time are you spending on this? What's on that? How are you getting on this? What can we leverage? What are you good at? What aren't you good at? So how do we put that to somebody else? Or is there a tech that can do that for you? Or is there something else that can take it over so you can carry on the personal stuff?
Interesting.
It purely depends on agents really, and it's for our model and how we work. We can see it. So rather than sort of somebody just being on their own and just drowning, I can almost see if someone's struggling, I can just okay, let's have a conversation.
So you'll figure out like almost like troubleshoot where they can leverage, like what's costing them the most time, and then sort of work out a plan in terms of what they can actually give to someone else, or maybe even hire someone like a VA or something like that to sort of keep the cost down and
or if they're spending time on stuff they shouldn't be spending time on at all.
Such as
sometimes it's the three P's. So perfectionism, procrastination, and paralysis of analysis. So it's being a perfectionist. You don't need to be all the time. Like, right? Paralysis analysis. Are you overlooking it? Are you spending too much time on something to make it perfect? And you just sitting there just thinking about things all the time. So it could just be wasted time.
Over analyzing every single thing, and just trying to overthinking stuff and kind of like looking into real detail and stuff that you don't need to, kind of thing. No, I am guilty of that, actually, to be fair. Like, I do tend to think like maybe I'm spending too much time like actually doing meetings for the sake of meetings, rather than, going out and actually going door knocking or like getting on the phones and ringing my customers. Like maybe I'm like thinking too high level, almost at the level I'm actually at. I'm thinking too high level. So I think that's probably one of my weaknesses.
Yeah, it's about being proactive and purposeful with your time, because there's other things you can still do, right? But it might be at the end of the day. So when have you got the most energy? When's going to be the best time to do it?
During the day. No, definitely. It's hard to squeeze it all in though, because I'm trying to, where you're trying to sort of keep fit, you're trying to get your family stuff going, you've got all the extra bits, that you've got to do. And then, for me, I think I get to about sort of, sometimes I get to the afternoon, I'm like, where's the day gone? Like, I don't know. Like, I'm literally like, all right, 6 o'clock. Like, we're almost 7 o'clock now. And I'm like, what have I actually done productive today? And it's like, it's very difficult for me sometimes to pinpoint that. So maybe getting the calls done early and just smashing them out, first thing. So I know, right, at least I got that done. And that's one positive thing, that's starting off the day.
Like, if you look at, I was reading something the other day about like millionaires, high millionaires and billionaires don't make lists. They time block. So it's almost the time blocks of boxes what you can do, but they always time block family time first. Get out. That's in there. It's never moving. And then what's the most important things you can do, but planning what's going to happen. So like everyone throws around like 3 hours of lead generation a day on a lot of podcasts, a lot of things, the videos that I watch. But what's made up of that? One's planning, second's doing, and then the third's updating, right? So plan who you're going to call and what you're going to say, and then do it. Rather than just going, I'm going to hit the phone and just, what am I doing? So
well, I think it's better than not hitting the phones. I suppose it's just hitting the phones. Yeah, I think you can. I think sometimes you say, if you overanalyze stuff and you kind of like think, oh, who am I calling? What am I going to say? What am I going to do? Oh, what if they say this? What if they say that? What about the script? Then I think you can get analysis paralysis, and you end up going, oh, I can't do it. It's big and scary. See you later. I'm off down. I'm off to waste, procrastinate. Basically,
just keep it simple. Like people think agencies it's hard. I'm not, it's easy, right?
Especially now.
But people want to have conversations. What do people see in the news, right? They see doom and gloom all the time. People want an arm around them. They want a comfort. They want some empathy. They want somebody who's going to actually listen to them. And I say it to everyone all the time, why are we giving 2 of these and 1 of these, right? for those of you listening and not watching, there's two ears and one mouth. It's we listen more, we're meant to listen more than we talk, and that's probably one of the hardest things anyone can skill.
Yeah, listening, and I think that's key. When you're building those relationships with clients, is really, you don't want to be that agent that's just rushing in and rushing out, and get back to getting it done, and hitting my KPI and see you later. So, if they're not
Yeah,
signing up, you never speak to them again, type thing. No, I think it's that long-term relationship that you're trying to build with that client, and it might not be straight away, but over time, someone, they will come back to you or they'll refer you, and it's looking at that bigger picture. Really, I think that's
yeah.
what I think the key is in this is it's not all about just the short term wins, and it's about the long term growth, and
Yeah.
working on it, and thinking about it on a
But
sort of longer scale.
and that comes down to the people overestimate what they can do in 1 year, but underestimate what they can do in 5.
Yeah, precisely. Not every. I mean, you're going to get rich overnight. It just doesn't
No,
happen, does
but
it?
people think they
It's a
can.
hard graph. Yeah, it just doesn't happen unless you win
No.
unless you win the lottery or something, of course. But
Yeah,
yeah, but
slim chances.
yeah, it's very, very, very. You probably increase your chances selling properties.
Yeah.
All right. So what do let's talk about tech. Let's talk about a little
Yeah.
about tech. All right.
Okay.
So how important do you think tech is right now, and how important do you think it's going to be in the future for estate
Um,
agents?
to give agents more time back is massively important. Um, and it will continue to be massively important to give agents time back to do the personal touches, the personal conversations, the personal relationship building, the viewings, the discovery appointments, the consultations, the follow-ups, the networking, everything else. There's nothing that can take that away from the agent. And there was a podcast I listened to the other day about AI taking over everything. It's
Yeah.
like if in a people-based business where people are moving home and it's done through emotion and the heart more than the mind, AI cannot take that away. But utilizing tech to make your life easier and leverage things like admin, leverage things like emails, leverage things like I don't know, helping you out with
Compliance.
compliance and updates and everything else. It's almost what you want, and like what our tech does for us at the moment. It just reminds you all the time, like do this, do this, do this. Okay, cool, go and do it. But rather than got a bit of paper, you lose it. It's in a Google sheet. You can't get on the instant. You can't log into it. There's so many different things that just get in the way. But if you can have something that just reminds you to do things all the time, and you've inputted the right notes, and you've done the right follow-ups, and you've done everything that you needed to do, it just makes your life easier because it frees up some of this brain space
Yeah.
for you to be able to either learn new things or do more.
Yeah, definitely. I'm really excited about AI and what it's going to do for people, and obviously there are some concerns about people losing their jobs and it taking more away from businesses than it gives and stuff like that. But I
Yeah,
truly believe that it's actually going to be more beneficial to the individuals, like entrepreneurial type people who leverage it and use it, and then they
yeah,
can do more work instead of hiring more people. They can do the work of more people, but just using the technology to assist them, so yeah, as you say, frees up more of their time to focus on the customer relationships and stuff like that. So
yeah,
I think in the long term, like really, it's going to be more of that type of individual sales rather than these big teams that people have got. Which brings me to my next question.
yeah.
Teams within Keller Williams. Could you talk a little bit about that, and how someone would go about building a team within the market center as a way of growing their business?
Well, fairly simply, to be fair, it's the main structure of any team to be built through the model of the MREA anyway. Because what we were saying a minute ago is anything that you then need to leverage has got, most of it's going to be admin or tasks that you're not either not good at or is taking up too much time. So having someone to help you out, admin, so employing somebody, VAs, virtual assistants, personal assistants, whatever it's going to be, that's stage one, right? Then after that, it's finding then someone who is going to be part of your team, but you've got to add value to somebody for them to want to be part of your team. So you can't be having a brand new agent come in and say, I've got 20 people coming in my team. It's just what value are you going to give to that person for them not to leave anyway? So it's, do you have lead generation? Do you have admin assistants? Do you have a presence in your area? Do you have that kind of leadership style for one part of that business? And then start growing it out from there. So you do have a letting specialist. Do you have a buyers specialist? Do you have someone part of your expansion team, so going into a different area? And then you've also got another side of our teams, which actually looks at groups. So do you then want to build a group of people that you almost become their coach, mentor, trainer, leader, but they're indirectly a part of your team.
Yeah.
So they'll pay you a percentage of whatever they do for
They're
you to be able
self-employed under you, basically.
to go and help them, right? But they're
Mm.
not part of your actual team. But self-employed part of your actual team, yes, it's possible. Employed part of your team, yes, it's possible. But having expansion teams to go into different areas, and building out groups of people that you might become an office yourself, right? So what I do, I coach, train, guide, and consult agents to be able to build businesses.
Yeah.
So you could then do that the same for other agents without them being directly in your team.
Yeah, but you take a percentage of what they make basically to help
Yeah,
them on their journey, because not everyone's going to have like the access to yourself, or that sort of thing. They might want to come under your team, so you can give them more time and things like that, sort of benefit them and show them how you've done things and get them off the mark basically in their area.
definitely.
I mean, the only go on, sorry.
No, if you're building that successful business, right, people are looking at you. They're not looking at the whole business. They're looking at you as an individual. So if you're doing that and you're not quite ready to have someone part of your team all the time, so with you all the time, start doing it as a group, so you can then start coaching people. But then after that, start putting them into team. But it needs to be the right time when you physically can't take on any more. And throughout that time, anybody that wants to grow a team needs to be writing down their standards and an operating manual of how they do things. Because like we've spoken about, it's like you do things different from how I do. Somebody else does things differently from all of us.
We all
right?
have different ways. Yeah.
But it all works best for our client. But you
Mm.
want people in your team to do it the way that you would like it done, because you know it works.
Yeah, but also following the model and sort of building
Definitely,
on that
definitely.
chassis.
But if you have a different process of, like, we train to a very high level of what fees to charge and how to book in a listing appointment and how to do one and how to market. But if you've got something that you do slightly different, that's within that it might be adding value when a completion happens. So you do a certain gift, or like I don't know, a
Bottle of wine.
NFT of the property or things like that. You can give them. It could be something mad that you do, but that's part of your process and what you do.
Yeah.
You want other people to be able to buy into that and do it the same, because that's your brand as you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. All right. So final question. Why should someone join Keller Williams over the various other models that are springing up, all the time now, for sort of offering similar things, but for less?
I was going to say they shouldn't. That sounds really weird to say, but you should research everything, right? What I hear a lot of is people banging their own drum all the time. But it needs to be a specific type of person, right? For Keller Williams, what you get is a great culture within the office. You get somewhere where you can come and mastermind with people. You get a close-knit team of people that will actually help each other, go out their way to help each other. You get access to myself and the likes of Andrew, Ben, that will be there to consult with you once a month, give you coaching calls once a week, give you all the training, everything that you need. If you don't want to be on your own, or you don't want to be part of a more sporadic group of people, Keller Williams is that kind of place. It's like I always look at it as like a fun place for people to work, play, and grow their own businesses. Part of a bigger team, but still running their own business. Because we're all in business for profit, right? We're not in business for fun. Let's put that out there, right? Everybody is on this planet, and you need to look at it in such a way as, are you somebody who can just work on your own and maybe pick up the phone to somebody? Or do you want to be somebody who can have access to come into an office and our office is fantastic. I'm so glad we moved into this new building as well. If you want to come into somewhere that's more comfortable, you want to come into somewhere you can speak to the likes of Josh or any of our other agents and just be there just to bounce ideas off of people. It's great.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think collaborating with other agents is really, really important. And where that's where you can sort of almost in a market where we're in, we got to kind of work together to actually show what the value of what we're doing.
Yeah.
So you can only do so much as one person, and that's what I've kind of learned is that you do need your allies, you need your support, and no one's their own. Like you can't be a one man army. It's
No.
impossible. You're only going to get so far before you burn out, and that's just not good for anyone really.
And that's in our belief system as well, right? So success, no one succeeds alone, and that's it's true in any massive business or anyone who's succeeded. They've not done it on their own.
No.
They've done it with other people around them. But there are so many models out there. There's so many different personality types. There's so many different people, what they want, how they want it. So what I'd say to anybody, do your research. You want somewhere that you can feel at home. That's what we'll say we are.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I've enjoyed the more like helping the community, like the charitable stuff that we've been doing, and I think I can sense that like that side of things has really made a difference, and it makes you feel good that you're giving back. You're not just taking, it's not just about, oh, let's just sell. It's like, well, let's give something back to the community, and work together to actually change the perceptions of that people have, of estate agents, of being like greedy, capitalist, whatever, like shiny suit, slick back hair, kind of that sort of impression. I think doing stuff like this is actually changing that, and going, no, actually this is a really important job. And it's that moving house is one of the most stressful times for someone, and having the right person helping them with that transaction and that time is like invaluable.
Definitely. And again, if you look at it, it's usually one of the most expensive things that most of us own.
Yeah.
Right? So choose that person who's going to protect you to do it.
Yeah.
And when you say about like charity and giving back and everything, we don't do it just because it's charity and we want to put something on socials. We do it because we actually really care. And it's how it makes you feel and what you can actually do to help somebody out. And like what we did in May, it was like amazing what we could do for people in one day that would have taken them 6 months.
Yeah.
For taking one day out of your business, it's like, why wouldn't anybody want to do it?
No, 100%. 100%. More of that sort of stuff can only be a good thing, really. Especially, in times like now where, we've all got to sort of pull together to look after people and give back as much as we can, even if we're not where we want to be in life, we can still always give a little something back to the people that are actually in like worse, really bad situations,
Community. That's it. All of our agents will be part of their community. And that's if anyone agent's not doing that, that's not part of us, go and do it, because it's the best thing you can do.
Yeah, no, definitely. Well, yeah, no, thanks for that, Iain. And I think it's been really helpful, and especially for anyone who's like doesn't know about Keller Williams. But I think it's probably quite helpful for them. Do you want to give a little like shout out to where they can find you or get in touch with you to find out a bit more if they want interested about becoming an agent?
Yeah, finally, yeah. You can either email me, Iain.Cooper, IAIN.Cooper at kwuk.com, or if you don't want to speak to me direct, go to our website. It's kwukadvantage.com/careers.
Yeah.
Take a look. Like you can notice about, or speak to our agents. They're the people that are doing it. Go and talk to them, see how they're feeling it, they're finding it. No one's going to sell you a dream. No one's going to try and sell it to you. It's look, if it's the right thing for you, it's going to be the right thing for you. If it's not, we're going to tell you.
No, that's good. That's good to hear. And you can always talk to me as well. If anyone's interested in hearing it from the agent's perspective, like I'll give them the truth. I've been doing it for 3 years now. I've been around, so yeah, I'll give them it from the ground level, and tell them how.
Mouth, right? You've had the ups, you've had the downs, you've had the worries, you've had the concerns.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, at the end of the day, I still believe that doing this is the best possible customer experience for someone, and that to me is you can't argue with that. You know, it's a better customer experience, and I think it deserves a higher level of a higher fee, really. But at the end of the day, they're getting better value, and that won't change. And I think it's probably only going to shift more in that direction. So,
Yeah.
you know, we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, appreciate your time today, Ian.
Thanks so much
And
for having me on.
yeah, lovely to speak to you, and have a good evening. Speak
Thanks.
soon.
Take
See you
care.
soon.
Cheers, mate.